welcome back. Today we join a builder as he creates an earth-sheltered refuge from scratch. The first priority is a dry base camp. A heavy stone wall anchors the temporary lean-to. The thermal mass of these rocks captures heat from the fire, radiating it back through the night. By morning, the real excavation begins. Digging directly into the hillside provides natural insulation against extreme temperature shifts. The surrounding earth maintains a constant thermal baseline year-round. He sifts the displaced soil, separating out roots and debris. The refined dirt will later be repurposed for mortar and roof coverage, wasting no material on site. The foundation of the permanent structure relies on dry stack masonry. Without concrete, gravity and friction are the only bonds holding this load-bearing wall together. Each large stone is selected for its flat profile and carefully bedded into the excavated bank to prevent shifting over time. Tapping smaller chinking stones into the gaps locks the larger boulders in place. This wedges the primary masonry tight, transferring the compressive load evenly across the entire face of the wall. The heaviest stones are reserved for the lowest courses. A wide, dense base anchors the structure against the outward pressure of the soil banked behind it. With the masonry rising, attention turns to the timber frame. He shapes raw forest saplings into functional structural members. Working with unseasoned green wood requires careful measurement, as the material will slowly shrink and shift as it dries. A hand drill starts the mortise joints for a circular doorway. The arched geometry is inherently strong, distributing roof weight down through the sides rather than relying on a single horizontal lintel that could sag over time. Hours later, he sets the vertical posts directly into the dirt floor. Digging below the frost line prevents ground heave from misaligning the frame during winter freezes. Plumb vertical supports are critical here. Any lean will multiply the structural stress once the heavy earth roof is loaded on top. The circular threshold now stands as the defining architectural feature. He ties the wooden framework into the surrounding stone structure. Marrying timber and masonry creates a composite shell, allowing the rigid rock to brace the flexible wood against lateral wind forces. Harvesting structural timber on-site eliminates the need for heavy transport. Stripping the bark serves a vital purpose. Bark traps moisture and invites wood-boring insects, which rapidly degrade the strength of the rafter. A clean, peeled log cures evenly and lasts decades longer under an earth roof. He notches the ends with an axe, creating a saddle joint that bites into the top plate. This simple friction fit prevents the rafters from sliding outward under heavy downward pressure. Spacing the rafters tightly is essential for an earth-sheltered roof. Dirt is incredibly heavy, and closing the gaps ensures the decking planks won't bow or snap under the immense dead load. Fallen logs are bucked into manageable lengths for the roof decking. Selecting dead-standing or recently fallen timber provides lumber that is already partially seasoned, reducing the moisture trapped within the final ceiling. Rough-hewn planks span the rafters, creating the sub-roof deck. Staggering these thick boards adds sheer strength to the entire frame, locking the independent timber elements into a single, unified canopy. The overlapping grain patterns distribute point loads, meaning a heavy snowpack won't stress any individual rafter beyond its breaking point. Wooden pegs act as traditional fasteners where metal nails might rust or pull out. Driven into tight, pre-drilled holes, the pegs will absorb ambient moisture, swell, and lock the planks permanently to the rafter below. A modern power drill accelerates the joint prep, but the mechanical holding power relies on ancient friction. Trimming the overhanging planks flush keeps the roofline tidy, but more importantly, it reduces the surface area exposed to wind uplift. A smooth, unified edge allows water to run off cleanly without wicking back up into the end grain. the entryway overhang receives its final trim. This extended lip acts as a drip edge, directing rainfall away from the wooden threshold. Working inside the dim structure, he sets interior support posts. These vertical columns halve the free span of the roof, vastly increasing the weight capacity of the timber grid overhead. The massive circular door requires wide, stable planks. Joining several boards side by side forms a solid panel, but wood naturally expands and contracts with humidity. To account for this, the edges must be hand-planed perfectly straight, ensuring a flush seam that won't warp or buckle during the wet season. The heavy panel is then lifted into the stone opening, testing the clearance. The rounded profile is difficult to hang, requiring precise adjustment to swing smoothly without binding against the stone jambs. A continuous waterproof membrane seals the timber deck. Without this barrier, the earth roof would quickly rot the wooden rafters below. Live moss creates a breathing, self-repairing final layer. As the root structures intertwine, they anchor the topsoil in place, preventing erosion during heavy rainstorms. Harvesting moss directly from the surrounding forest floor guarantees a perfect match for the local climate and humidity. The living roof will continue to grow and adapt. He establishes the outdoor living space by laying a stone fire pit. Hardscaping the approach prevents the high traffic area directly in front of the door from turning to deep mud. A simple mortise and tenon joint forms the base of a resting stool. The unbarked saplings retain their rustic texture, blending the crude furniture seamlessly into the woodland aesthetic. The finished stool sits on the broad stone slab, completing the outdoor hearth. The wood surface receives a scorched finish, known as Shou Sugi Ban. Charring the outer layer creates a carbonized shield that repels water and prevents rot, vastly extending the door's lifespan without chemical sealers. Finally, he cuts a small portal through the center, allowing natural light to pierce the dark interior and providing a clear sightline into the forest. In the end, structure, landscape, and daily routine operate as one system. What began as an empty hillside is now an integrated shelter that produces warmth, protects from the elements, and sustains itself. The hard labor is done. Some places are built, but the best ones are grown.